Hey everyone, it's Cathy from cathyzilski.com with another installment of Cathy Makes a Card. Today I've got a graduation card. No, not about my son. He's a junior. He's got time, people. But I've got a lot of friends and relatives who are graduating this year, and I've got two cards, a pink one and I made a yellow one. And I'm going to show you how I made the pink one. I'm starting out here with my Misty, love my mini Misty, and some beautiful solar white cardstock from Nina. And I'm combining two sets. I've got Smart Cookie and Elfie Selfie from Lawn Fawn. I'm going to take the grad hat and the elephant and combine them together for my card. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some stamping. Now, I love my Misty. I'm a relatively new stamper, and the Misty is rocking my world because it's making stamping easier for me. I am not a very accomplished stamper, and this tool makes it so that I actually get even impressions that look great, that aren't all mucked up. Yeah, that, my friends, is magic. Now, because I'm a pretty new stamper Copic colorer, I like to make a couple impressions to work with, so I make a copy because I'm 9 out of 10 times I'm going to make a mistake, and so it's always nice to have backup. So I've got my Memento ink because I am going to be using Copics. Go ahead and get that impression down, and actually it turned out great first time. So I'm just going to flip my cardstock, stamp another copy on top, and then I'm going to set this aside, let it dry a little bit, so I can get started on the next part of the card, which is the blending of inks. Today I've got 3 inks to show you that I'm using. I'm using Spun Sugar, Worn Lipstick, and Picked Raspberry, 3 lovely distress inks. Now, I don't know if they're supposed to all go together, but this cardstock, many of you told me when I posted about having trouble blending that I should try the Bristol Smooth Strathmore paper. I had some, I just never made the connection to pull it out. And you guys were right. It does blend so much easier than the Nina. Of course, I love the Nina for everything else because it's so bright white, and the Bristol, it definitely has more of a yellow cast to the paper. But for inks, it's been great. And yes, I have to get my inks all there. It all has to be lined up. So I'm starting with the Spun Sugar. And another tip that was given to me, blot a little off before you start the blending. I'm not a master blender. I am learning. I'm getting better. I also find it really hurts my wrists after a while, but that's because I have, aging graphic design wrists that have seen far too many hours clicking a mouse and yeah. But I'm definitely getting more confidence. One thing that I noticed too about this Spun Sugar, it's so light you almost don't see it going on, and then all of a sudden you have this beautiful tone of pink. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. It really surprised me once it started to show up. Now I'm coming in at the bottom with some Picked Raspberry, and I'm hitting the edges a little dark, and that's okay because I'm not going to be using this whole panel. I'm going to be cutting a panel out of it. So I'm not too worried about coming in too dark from the edges. Now I'm going to go in here in the center and use a little bit of the Worn Lipstick. Again, I don't know if these are really supposed to blend together, but these are the only pinks I have. So that's why I'm using them. So I'm going to come in the middle. And again, I spent more time than you're seeing here in this video to get that, okay? I like the way it looks, and I know that when it kind of sets up and dries a little, it will feel more blended to me. Now it's time to color. Here's the beautiful thing about choosing an elephant. I know how to use gray Copics. That's the reality. My skill with Copic is limited, but I am getting better. I am taking an online class that I haven't quite worked through yet with online card classes that's all about Copic coloring, which is great because I need to learn, but I can handle gray. So I have a handful of warm gray markers, and I love warm gray. And I'm just coloring in the whole elephant with, the warm gray 0, coming in with a little warm gray 1 to add shadows where I think they should go, and a little warm gray 3. Again, I'm not an expert shader or, colorer, but I find that I can make it look decent enough. And then once it dries, it looks pretty good. Went ahead and colored the hat as well, the grad hat, and then just added a little pop of pink to go with my pink card. My elephant is done. I cut out the elephant and hat using the matching dies, and because I actually nailed it on the first time, I don't have to use the second backup. There we go. Next, I grabbed my favorite set of dotted rectangle dies. I love these. I use them all the time. And I am going to start by cutting a base for my card out of the Neenah Solar White. Someone asked me in seeing a card that I did, how do you get the card actually with the dots on the edge? Do you run the whole card through? I said, no, it's a panel. It's just a panel. I glue it on. Next up, I'm going to take my finished colored paper. I'm going to cut a panel out of that as well. And it looked great. I feel like it really, when it dries, it just has a bit of a smoother look. So that's ready. Now I'm going to use my Misty. I've got my card base just on the Neenah White Solar. It's folded. I've glued up the back of the first panel with my Kokio. And I can quickly line these up because, again, someone gave me the great tip of using my Misty as a place to just do this because I, for some reason, have a really hard time lining up card bases on cards. Yeah, looks great. Now I've got to glue this guy up, the pink panel, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down on the card base. I decided not to use any dimensional adhesive. I just wanted a bit of a flatter look to this. So just making sure it's all lined up. Margins look great. And press down. Good to go. Now I gotta grab some foam tape. Now I know that this is terrible, but I'm still just I like my scissors. I'm gonna use my scissors. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop up my little elephant, and I'm gonna pop up my hat because I want them to have, have a little dimension on the card. So getting that guy down looks good. Here's a little tip. When I have excess of foam tape, I just stick it on the side of my giant roll. And so it's there. Usually there's more there than you see, but a little tip. So now it's time to get my elephant guy. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I get frustrated if I don't get things lined up, and believe me, it happens more than you would think. I stand up whenever it's time to adhere things because I need that bird's eye look. And I think this time, people, we nailed it. We nailed it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the hat on. Now, again, these don't go together, like they're not from the same set, but I just think how cute, to kind of tilt him. And because, if an elephant's wearing a hat, it's not going to fit perfectly. Am I right, people? Yeah. So get it down and you can say it with me. Oh, for cute. Next up is to add a sentiment. And there's a congratulations in the Elfie Selfie. And I'm gonna free range stamp this. I'm gonna free range stamp it. I'm not gonna use my Misty. I'm getting a little more confident with my stamping. So I went ahead and just put it on my little Lawn Fawn acrylic block. And I am using VersaFine ink. This is new for me. Many of you told me you're gonna love this ink. It's fantastic. And you know what? You were right. It is just juicy and black, and it's almost hard for me to mess it up. So I'm gonna pop it down. Did she do it? She did it. Congratulations, Cathy. You just free range stamped. Now I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I didn't show you earlier, but stamp chamois, amazing. You can see mine's a little messy. That thing I keep in this little glass jar that I got at Target, and it's a beautiful world. It really is. And there you have it. My finished card, this cute little elephant, I've made several now, so if you know me and you're graduating, you can expect to see this little guy showing up in your mailbox. And remember, my son, he's got one more year. One more year. Deep breaths, Mom. Deep breaths. Thank you so much for watching today. Please subscribe to my channel and check out more videos in the center. To see more from me, visit my website today. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.